Okay, let's go through the select tool first of all, guys. If I click this button here, that is the playhead button, which selects keys closest to the playhead. Repeated clicking increases the selection. Here we have the previous key and the next key, all keys to the right of the playhead, all keys to the left of the playhead, and select all. Nice and compact. If I hold down Shift, it will increase the selection, like so. If I hold down Control, it will decrease the selection, like so. If I hold down Shift and hit the Select All, it will just select the keys visible in the graph editor viewport there. This is the Home key, which frames everything, and this one here frames the selected keys, which is very handy. We also have a isolation for the curves. So for instance, if you just wanted to work on one curve, because let's face it, the graph editor has been messy sometimes, we can do that. So you can see that one's just operating on that curve there. But also, if I, for instance, wanted to just work on that curve, but I wanted to see the other ones, I can soft isolate it like so. We also have a toggle for the handles, so for unselected keys, we don't want the handles visible. We also have a nudge tool, which will do that. Very straightforward. We also have a toggle here for the different curves, so I can actually just work on the just have visible and work on the location ones if I wanted to. So it's a really handy way of cleaning up your report if you wanted to simplify down the actual aspects that you're working on. We also have, lastly, a snap to. So let me just zoom out here and show you how that works. If I select all these keys here and hold down Alt and snap it, it will snap from the last frame. If I do it on the select towards the left, it will snap it in the opposite direction. So good way of snapping there. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense. Oh, I just remembered that the select all tool works across the other editors as well. So for instance, if I toggle here into the dope sheet, I can do exactly the same operation. So select all left, select all right, playhead, etc, etc. Yes, there we go. Okay, let's have a little look at the retimer tool here, guys. So you can see I've got a series of cubes here, just simply kind of drifting around a little bit with a bit of rotation, so you'll get the sense of how the retimer tool works in comparison. First of all, if I come over here to the retimer popover, you will see that we have the familiar selection tools and the visibility and operative toggles. There's a snap to frames here after you've retimed if you feel the need to do that. So the retimer tool works across the pivot sections, and you'll find hopefully that what I particularly like about Animates is that the ability to iterate very quickly through different positions is very, very handy. So first of all, let's have a little go. If I, for instance, select all the keys, which we do have, and let's do it from the start here. So I'm just going to take that up by 10%, and you will see that as we iterate through, it just takes a little bit more time to get there. Nice and straightforward. Okay. We also have the compress tool. So for instance, if I do it from, let's do it from the center and just compress that. So you will see that I can compress it in different directions. It's kind of like it's a bit of a kind of squeezing kind of fashion. Let's see what we get here. You can see obviously there's a Sculpt Tool here as well. And let's just go through. There we go. So yeah, a little bit tighter in the center there, a little bit more action going on. Obviously we can do from the playhead and from the end as well. If we do show original, you will see that as I iterate through here, there's a little ghosting here of the original curve there, so you can get a good sense. You can also adjust the opacity there. You can also obviously bake in 0 and continue to iterate as you want. So hopefully you'll get a good sense here of the sort of punching power. Not only does it work in the graph editor, it also works in the dope sheet. So let's have a quick go there. For instance, I come onto the retime here and make sure everything's selected. You can see it is doing it from the center, do from the start, compressing nicely. Actually, that's not compressing, that's rescaling, and from the end here. Also, obviously, we can do it from the playhead. Okay, so hopefully that makes perfect sense. Okay, so now let's go through the motion path tool here, guys. I really like this tool, I have to say. I'm really excited to show it to you. So first of all, we've got various aspects here to go through. So if I hit the selected with the bone, and it also works on objects and multiple nodules and multiple bones, as I'll show you. So first of all, let's just generate a path. You can see that at the moment we've got a purple path with various colours for different aspects. So let's just kind of go through the path. If I go to, first of all, I can toggle it off and on if I wanted to. I have it in front here toggled on, so you can see the keys will, like bones when you do the visibility, it goes in front of the mesh, which is very useful. I can also put on the frame numbers on and off, and they scale really nicely when you're in the viewport. You can also obviously scale those a little bit more. And so at the moment it's on path of past and future, and so you can see it's pink in the future and yellow in the past. Not a bad life. We also have, and obviously you can change this as you want to. I also have speed colours, which is really good, so this will show you the velocity of your animation, which is also really good for your timing. I also have a straightforward path colour, so if we just go on to turn off past and future, now I can change the path colour itself to whatever it is that I desire. Actually, let's put it onto past and future because I like that. Okay, and we also have the playhead marker here, so that's really handy in terms of seeing exactly where you are. You can change the scale of that and the colour if you so desire. And also we have the path thickness. So there we go with the aesthetics of the paths. Let's just turn that down a little bit. Okay, so now let's go on to the keys and handles. First of all, we have the size of the keys and the size of the handles. We also have the colours of the keys, lots of flexibility there, and let's just try and drop on the colour that I like. Oh, I've done it wrong. They're quite similar. Okay, let's just do that properly. Come on, David. There we go. Okay, so we also have the colour of the handles, so I can change the dimensions. I can change the colour of the handles. We also have the different aspects of them, so I can change it from a sphere to a circle to a cube. Let's just zoom in on this so you guys can see, and a solid cube, solid sphere, and a cone for whatever reason, and a plane axis, which I also quite like. But I'm just going to put onto a sphere. Okay, so they are the aesthetic visual aspects. I'm just going to turn off the frame numbers there because that's a little bit distracting for me with this amount of keys going. Okay, so now let's have a look at some of the other ones. I think actually before I go on to the specific tools, I'm just going to show you how quick and versatile it is. So for instance, if I select, let me just select the key here, you can see I can very quickly iterate this through. And the great thing about this is that it works with the Blender gizmos. So it's a series of proxy bones which feed directly back onto the original animator, the original key data of the bone that we're working upon. So I can select multiple keys and move them around, etc, etc. It's very very versatile. So we can move them around very, very easily. Let me just undo these a few steps just to get back to where we were. Okay, and now, needless to say, the great thing about the Motion Path tool is that you can really sculpt your arcs really effectively. So let's say, for instance, we just wanted to start that up and give that a bit more bump over here. Let's just take this handle, and if you press H, oops, so there's it. If you press H, by the way, you can also change the handle type. So for instance, I can go on to aligned here and aligned here, and that will allow me to operate it with a little bit more fluidity. Okay, so really good way of polishing your arcs. In some degree, there are better ways, so let me kind of dictate some of those. I think what I'm going to do is actually show you en masse. So for instance, if I take all of these, let's just come off here and set all of these. And I'm going to apply that last path, and I'm going to generate a path on all of these. So you can see again, it's instantaneous. Got all sorts of things going on here. Look at that. This needs some serious work. So before we kind of like start digging into that in terms of manually adjusting these, which we could, and it'd be fun. I'm just going to show you a few other tools. So first of all, we've got the Sculpt Tool. If I activate the Sculpt Tool here and then just make that bigger, you can see that I can very quickly and easily just get these keys to be exactly where I want them to be. It's a really nice way of just operating. It's a bit like the graph editor in the 3D viewport, don't you think? Now I'm going to smooth them. So I can either hold down Shift, like so, and that will just smooth them off nicely, or I can, if you right click, it comes off the session, and oops, it's easy. Let's just get back into the session, and I've got the smooth tool here. So there we go. Let's just give those a little bit of a smoothing off, and I can also just smooth off the handles. So let's go smooth handles and sculpt, and there you go. You can see that will kind of bend back to the original, to the surrounding keys. There we go. It's starting to look better. Okay, so there's that. Okay, let's have a look at this polish tool, shall we? If I, for instance, draw this open, we have 3 sliders. First of all, we've got the smooth shape. First of all, actually, I'm going to select all the keys, and then I'm going to show the smooth shape making effect, like so. As you can see, my smooth deformations. I can also do it without the handles movement tool, like so. And I can also just smooth the handles themselves if I want to, like so. There is also the smooth spacing. So for instance, let's see if I select a bunch of keys here and smooth space, you will see that they align themselves up so that the distance is equidistant, if that's the kind of thing that you desire. Okay, there you go. Okay, so let's have a look at the lattice tool now, folks. If I open this up and just bring down the information, I'm just going to select all the keys. So first of all, select all the keys and hit the lattice and paper presto. You can see I've got one box selected at the moment because I want to reshape all of the keys in their entirety rather than one at a time. So if I now select the corners and move the curves here, you can see it updates in real time really nicely. I can then completely reshape, like so. Ooh, look at those feet. So you get the idea. I really like this tool. I think it's just wonderful. It's a real sense of like sculpting the shape of your animations. It's really remarkable. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. Let's have a look at the smooth tool now. We have, actually I'm going to use the pop-up, but there is in the end panel, there is various details here. So if I show you the smooth, you'll see that there's various information here to the tool. However, it's a little bit more extensive when you go down to the bottom over here. So let's open that up. So you can see I've got a bit of a selection. I've got a section here where, you know, we've got a little bit of a oops, let's see, a bit of a dude kind of jumping up, and down it goes. That's all fine. However, the legs are a bit cranky. You know, you can see them kind of jumping around all over the joint there. So, if for instance let's just go on to the part where I want to do I think something like that, and let's just start selecting these keys. That's about right, I think. Let's just test that. Yeah, good. Okay, so you can see them, you know, having a fair job there of smoothing out those keys. Not too bad. I think it also looks to me like it needs to have some handle smoothing going on. I also think that if I put preserve extremes on here, you will see the difference. So, you know, those top lines there, they are very much preserved, which is really good for that kind of process. But I want to get rid of them. So I think that's pretty good. I can also, if I wanted to, just base it around a certain pivot point. So let's say, for instance, it looks like this. Then let's just put it on the center and just describe this. So you can see now there's a little bit more influence on the center. If I move strength up, you will see that, oh, there you go, it's too much there. There we go. We can really control and sort of drill down the parts that we want to smooth. Okay, I actually want the start there as well, I think. And I'm going to give that a bit more. And let's give that a little bit more as well. Okay, let's see what we've got. Yeah, look at that, that's better already. Yes. Okay. So that in part is a smooth tool. So let's go over a little bit more smoother. You can see I've got this weird section here where the main body controller there is glitching around all over the place. So if I have a look here and find out what's going on, you can see it's clear, it's this curve here causing us all these issues. So first of all, I'm going to isolate that curve. Let's just take a key and isolate the curve. And now I'm going to, there we go, to that section there. I'm going to take all those keys, and if I open up the smooth tool, instead of, let's just bake all that down, instead of the actual smooth itself, you can see that's what's happening. I actually want to smooth the handles. So let's give that a go, do that, bacon 0, bacon 0. Bacon 0. There we go. Dong, 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 dong. That's pretty good. If I wanted to, I could also do it via the pivot points, but it really is that all of that section I really needed to blast into. So let's have a look. There we go. Smooth. Ooh, still some janky stuff there. Needs fixing also. Let's have a look, shall we? Yuck. Rogues. Let's get in there again. Smooth tool. Smooth handles. Okay, in actual fact, I will show you a better way. I mean, this is quite nice in that, you know, we can leave a little bit of the movement there, which is somewhat desirable. In actual fact, the animation has been broken up somewhat just to demonstrate the tools here, but yeah, you know, sometimes you don't want to like flatten all handles out just because you still need a little bit of you know, organic information. Now would be a good time, I believe, to have a look at the handle tool, because we've got all sorts of handle issues here. Wouldn't that be clever? Okay, so again, I'm just going to take the offending section and show you the handles tool. So again, I like to pop over. Let's have a look here. So select all those handles there. So first of all, I've got both here, so I can change the height of both. Whoa, that was crazy! Let's just reset that. Let's just do that. In actual fact, if I hold down Shift, we'll get a little bit more control over that. So you'll find actually, probably should have said that. The all the sliders here work with Shift being a smooth operation. So I can bring down the scale handles there. Pretty handy. I can rotate the left handles like so. I can rotate the right handles like so. You can see they maintain their scale, which is quite nice. I can also split them, split the handles, quite fun if you like that kind of thing. I can also flatten them out. Oops, that's not work, does it? Let's just reset that and flatten them out. I bet. Let's just do that again. Oh, left. Oh, I see. It's because silly. It's because I've got both handles. If I've got both handles, it would flatten them out. So obviously the one that I was flattening was the one that was flattening. What else do we have? Okay, so let's just get rid of all of that, I think. Let's just undo those. And let me show you, for instance, we can actually be a bit more deterministic here. So if I come back into the handles tool here and do some adjustments here to the pivot, I can change the nature of the ways in which we are adjusting them. So I'm just going to bring down the scale, I think, and you'll see that here we have a, that's not doing it too effectively. Let me just bring that strength up there, and okay, there we go, that's better. So you can see, depending upon the pivot and the strength which is determining the punch of that pivot, we can, you know, very much control the individual aspects of what it is that we want to do here. I do like this ability to be so specific. Also, I can set the handles here to free or around or cut or etc, etc. So lots of possibilities there. Also, we've got the show original toggle. Okay, time to have a look at the Sculpt tool. If I go into the end panel here, and I should just cancel that down, and you can see we have a simple activate sculpt, and you'll see that that brings up the brush, and I also have different modes here. So we've got push pull, up and down, drag left and right, smooth, smear, flatten, amplify, and relax. If I can change the strength here, and I can also change the radius of the brush. I can also do that with the middle mouse down here. So first of all, let's just get a bit more real estate here, I think. In actual fact, let's just make sure that we've got a good handle on what's going on here. So first of all, I think I'm going to show you the header tool here. So we have the same situation down here. I can change the strength, and this is fall off for the different tools. I'm going to show you the smooth one because we've got all sorts of craziness going on here. You can see that those keys are just flying around, or those controllers are whizzing around. So let's go back into that and go to the smooth tool. I'm actually going to bring the strength right down because the smooth tool can be quite aggressive. There we go, it's doing a nice job there. Let's so smooth these ones here, and that looks like it needs a bit more. In actual fact, it looks like it's going down quite a bit there, which is natural, so I'm going to push that up now. Oops, daisy. Oh, need more strength on that. Better. There is one that's gone a bit rogue. Yeah, look at that. That's a bit choppy, isn't it? Let's try and get in there and do that. Bit too much aggression there, I think. Let's just have a little look. It might not be that, it might be other areas. Look, there it is, the offensive thing. Let's go back in. There's me doubting these beautiful tools. There we go, much better. I'm going to push those a bit more, but you get the idea. I like this tool. It's you know, it's very intuitive. You can really play around with you know, the individuality of just trying to get these things to tame them. Tame these keys. I can't stop. Let's just do a bit more. Okay, you get the idea. Now for the breakdown. So, as you can see here, we have a series of keys, series of poses, straightforward, constant interpolation there. Let's just take all of the keys and set them to Bezier and see what we have. So, you can see the feet and the main center of gravity are kind of going together. It's not ideal. The timing is okay, but the spacing obviously is really problematic. So let me show you how the breakdown works. If I first of all come on to the center of gravity here, which is why I'm going to speed up and accelerate towards the next pose, so it's got a good sense of acceleration. So if I first of all, I'm going to make sure that I'm just dealing with the location data here, and I'm just going to go a few frames on from what we've got here. So we've got, let's zoom in this a little bit. So we've got pose there. Let's just go 3 frames on, and here's the breakdowner, and you'll see the, excuse me, you'll see the rest of the information here if you wanted to use it like so, but I quite like the popovers, as you know. So you can see, first of all, I can iterate really easily and simply. It's got really nice instant real-time feedback, and so I can do that. So we've got half midway point and the previous key and next key. So halfway mid, it looks to me like it wants to be a little bit more. So I'm just going to push that up a little bit so it's got a really nice sense of acceleration. And let me just see. We don't want that. I think the auto tangent looks good. That's great. Now I'm actually just going to go back and sort out these previous keys here. So I'm just going to open the handles tool and take the right hand handles and rotate them a little bit because I want them to accelerate out. So there we go. So nice and easy. So now obviously I'll be working on feet, getting them to come up and sort of hold their position a bit longer and then accelerate down as he just crashing down. But hopefully that's pretty clear. Okay everybody, we're going to have a quick look at the Temp Pivot now. So let's go onto the tool and have a look at what we've got. What I want to show you is I'm going to change this so that there's more of a interesting tilt going on. For instance, if I was to just take that now and twist it, it's got a bit of a flat twist. I actually wanted to pivot over here so it's got more of a forward momentum and forward bend. So let me show you how it works. So let's come to the point. I want to do it from about here. Yeah, I wanted to have a big lean over. So I'm going to go create pivot bone. You can see a tiny little bone has appeared here, and I'm going to move pivot. And let's get it into that position over there, roughly speaking. Yeah, that looks spot on. Okay, now I'm going to rotate it so you can see now. Oops, daisy. Let's go. Oops, daisy. I need to go to use pivot. There we go. So now, there we go. So I'm going to twist over like so, and then on here, I actually want it to. I'm going to twist over a little bit more there, and now I'm going to flatten it out up here. It's got a really nice sort of twist as it comes down. Maybe even like pull it back a bit here. Much better. Okay, there we go. To bring it back to its normal state, just release the use pivot. Okay, hopefully that makes perfect sense. A quick look at the key color section now. Let's go on to that. Let me show you what's what. Unfortunately, the process here doesn't tally well over into Blender 5. You can change some of the key colors, but 4 is a little bit more flexible. But we can muck around with some of them, and sun is bright. Play around with the graph editor. So fundamentally, let's select the key here. So let's get a breakdown. Okay, so let's get that one there. Breakdown. It's selected it as breakdown. You can see, it's come up with an interesting colour. We can dictate the colours. So now, if I come onto a little key, this one here, and it's set as breakdown. Go. So it's a kind of useful, straightforward way of keeping track of the mechanisms within your process. Let's see, this one is moving, hold. Okay, so you get the idea. If we go on to the third hand section here, we can have a good play around with the graph editor. So I'm just make this a bit bigger. I can't see a thing, that's so bright. Okay, so background. Let's just give it a punch. There you go, that is obviously what you want for your graph editor. There we go, and let's set the grid as something neutral like that. As you can see, you can play around it. It's quite, I mean, obviously, these functions are embedded within the preferences of Blender, but sometimes a little bit hidden. It's quite nice to be able to think, oh, actually, I quite like something a little bit different. Okay, enjoy. Okay, guys, it's time to have a look at the key amp tool now. Here we go. So let's have a look at the system here. You can see that these are all the values. In actual fact, I'm going to use the popover tool because I like the popover tool. So here's the amp, and first of all, let's select all the keys, and I'll show you how it works. So we're working across all of the different transform variables here. So for instance, if I just amp here, you can see that scale, rotation, and location is all mutating kind of like equally, if you like. However, if I just use the center point here, you can see now it's just the center, and I can dictate how much I want that to be forced. Whew, that's going to be crazy. Let's just undo that. Okay, so let's do a bit of that. That's what we get, and also let's just break that down. Woohoo! Okay, now I'm going to play around the scale. We'll do it in the opposite fashion. So let's go. Oops, easy. Let's go scale. Select all again, and I'm going to do the front and the end. And let's just see if we I should just do the front and the end, and there we go. Okay, what I actually want to do is I don't want to increase strength, I want to bring down the amp. Right, so let's see what that gives us. There we go. Could have been a little bit fruitier on the end there, I think. Certainly got front. Let's just do that once more on the end. So let's make it 0, and make sure we've got all the keys. Go to the end and take off. It's certainly going to do it. Let's just give that a bit more oomph. Okay, you get the idea. Yeah. So I really like the pivot points. You know, I think being able to dictate your transformations across a wide series of keys whilst having control over how it lands across the whole curve is really useful. So hopefully you do too. Okay then, folks. Now it's time to do the locked world. So let me show you how this works. It's quite a nice, simple but elegant tool. So if I show you here, basically we've got this Monty guy flipping away there. He's got the water cycle, which the the pose is fine, and obviously the root controller there is causing quite a lot of foot slide. So if I get to the point where I want to lock it down, press lock and keyframe, and you'll see now that it is held in that world position. And I'm going to go to the place where I want to unlock it. Let's say there. I'm going to go key all frames. You can see down the graph editor here the constant interpolation works, and unlock. It's closed off. So there we go. If you, for instance, felt the need to do it again, you can do. And it will also do again, dunk, dunk, with an elegant different colour. Okay, right, so we are going to have a quick look at the workflow tool here. Some of this you will find useful, some of it will be duplications of other things. It's kind of like it's been a bit of a holding ground for various different ideas for buttons and toggles. So there's a constant bezier toggle, some handles toggles, and there's a clean jitter, which may be useful. It may be 1342 times useful. Snaps frames, bacon 0, etc, etc. And we also have a experimental utilities thing down here, various tools that I've been playing around with and working on, and some of it just doesn't need to be there, but feel free to have a look at that. And we also have an E section, which is from a popover, which has been there for a little while. I'm not going to show you that, it's for you to explore.